What up, fight fans? This is Squared Circle Productions. I'm going in with my new rant. This is going to be my 2015 year in review and preview for 2016. Okay, just want to say it's been a very interesting year. A lot of activity. Coming on my first year being in the YouTube boxing community, and just want to talk about three main events that happened that I actually called with one of my, I want to say it was my third or fourth video, and it was called, no, actually it was called, I think it was my second video, and it was called "Is Boxing Dead?" And in that video, I briefly discussed 3 reasons why boxing was dead, and then I spoke about 3 ways or 4 ways that it could resurrect itself. And the 3 things that I said need to happen actually took place, and the effects, you're seeing the effects of that now. Okay, and the first thing I said needed to happen was they needed to bring boxing back to regular TV. And about, I'd say 3 weeks or so after I dropped that video, I was on Twitter and I saw some tweets that Sugar Ray Leonard was putting out about PBC. So I Googled PBC and found out. I was like, wow, this is exactly what I was talking about. I also said that the heavyweight division needed to be interesting and exciting again. That happened. As we stand, we saw Deontay Wilder win the WBC championship. We saw Brian Jennings somewhat expose Vladimir Klitschko, and we subsequently saw Tyson Fury beat Klitschko for the World Heavyweight Championships, and soon after was stripped of the IBF belt. And you're going to be seeing here on January 16th, you're going to see a doubleheader on Showtime with Deontay Wilder fighting Spilka, whatever his name is. And you're also going to see Glasgow fight Charles Martin for the IBF belt. So, we'll see how that goes. But, and I also said that Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather had to fight. Of course, that happened. Okay, so, but anyway, let me get into my little year-end awards, okay? My fighter of the year is Adrian Broner, Mr. Excitement. Now I'm not a big fan of all the shit talking and all of that. I used to be, but I'm older now, so I'm a little more established and a little more, secure with myself, and I really don't see where that really has too much of a place. Sometimes I like the showmanship to a certain degree. But, I like guys that'll just go out there and just let their actions speak for themselves, The coolest guy in them, see, I'm from an old school, you know what I'm saying? And, we lost the whole concept of being cool, because now everybody wants to be a thug. So thugging is cool, and cool is corny. Well, old school cool is considered corny now. But when I was coming up, man, the cool dude, he didn't talk the loudest, he didn't have all the jokes, he didn't do all that. He just was his presence. He just had a calming presence about himself. Dudes knew he was a real deal, ladies knew he was a real deal. He's just a laid back, chill individual, you know what I'm saying? But, somewhere along the way, we got away from that. But anyway, yet and still, Adrian Broner seemed to get most of the headlines in boxing. Outside of Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, he probably was the most mentioned boxer. Love him or hate him, he just was constantly involved in stuff. Beefs, arrests, You know, just making an ass of himself. Um, Having some great fights. He kicked a little ass, got his ass kicked, you know, and still talk shit. You know, it didn't stop him none, you know. And at the end of the day, he's the WBA junior welterweight champion. So, you know what I'm saying? Kudos to you, Mr. Broner. Fight of the year. Need we say anymore? Manny Pacquiao versus Mayweather. I mean, we still feeling the ripple effects of that fight. You know, it's a whole lot of things that changed the game. You know, right there, it brought a lot of attention to boxing, brought a lot of casual fans back to boxing, put it on a spotlight. You know what I'm saying? International fighters now can become big time stars in the United States, and they're well received here. A lot of different things. The way Mayweather fights, you know, he's spawning a whole new generation of kids. It's coming up. And I'm going to tell you what, a lot of these young people that's coming up in the game that are going to be the future stars of boxing and MMA, they're going to be women boxers. I mean, I've seen some things on Facebook with little kids just rip. You know, their routines are ridiculous. I mean, it's just their boxing potential is just, their upside is just through the roof. And the kids ain't even hit puberty yet, you know. And I'm seeing some stuff with girls, man, that are really, you know, very, very highly skilled. So, I mean, this is the new wave. This is the future. Things we've never seen before, or at least not to a certain level, are about to come into play. And I hope people are ready for it and don't let prejudice, bias, and other kind of crap, you know, really allow you to have blurred vision to the future, to things that's actually happening, that great things are happening, and I don't want people to miss it because of their own ignorance. But, you know, honorable mention for Fight of the Year, Glowacki versus Marco Huck. Man, that was a good fight. Danny Garcia versus Lamont Peterson. Even though I did not like the decision, it was still a great fight. And Peter Quillen versus Andy Lee. That one was a good fight too. I mean, it was like the tale of two halves, you know. So like a good old football game where one team is just kind of blowing one team out at halftime, and then the second half, the other team rallies and kind of pretty much plays the perfect half, the second half of the game. You know, it was sort of like that. I mean, Quillen was dominating, and then Andy Lee just came back in the later rounds, man, and it just was a good slugfest. And, you know, it was a well-deserved draw. Because I feel like in that particular fight, it would be a robbery. I mean, even more so than the Danny Garcia-Lamont Peterson fight. But moving on, promoter / manager / promotion of the year goes to Al Heyman and PBC. Okay, I mean, again, mixed reviews. A lot of I've been reading, I've been watching people's videos. I'm a fan too, and I watch a lot of different guys' channels. I read the comments, and man, people are really just going in on Al Heyman, man, and PBC. But man, y'all just kind of come off as ungrateful, man. This shit is free. You know what I'm saying? And you talking about matchups? I'm going in my Allen Iverson voice. You know, matchups. We're not talking about it's on free TV. It's not. It's on network TV. We're not talking about that. We're talking about matchups. I mean, what did you expect? The three of the 4 fights of the year that I mentioned, the honorable mention, the 3 runner-up was PBC fights. Okay, and if anybody got a problem with that, well, fine. I mean, this cable crap, HBO, Showtime fights, you know, hey, they had all right fights, but nothing was as entertaining as the Glowacki versus Marco Huck fight, or the Danny Garcia versus Lamont Peterson fight, or the Peter Quillen versus Andy Lee fight. And there were other good fights they had on PBC as well. But those were standout fights. You understand what I'm saying? And I saw that on network TV. But people want to complain. So, hey, man, whatever. Moving right along. Alphabet Organization of the Year goes to the WBA. Trainer of the Year, I'm going to go out on a limb and just say Ronnie Shields for his work with the Charlo brothers and others. His ties to Rigondeaux and, not Rigondeaux, but, Rigondeaux and Erislandy Lara. It's paying off. And hopefully you get a plug and, you get more work in the future. Division of the Year, the heavyweight division. Okay, and reason why, because like it grabbed a lot of headlines too outside of the Mayweathers and Broners of the world. Deontay, whether you like him or not, Deontay Wilder winning the WBC championship was actually a big deal, and it's the start of something good. It's the start of something good for boxing as a whole, especially the heavyweight division, So, again, I'm going to hold off on a lot of that, but it was just good to see him win the belt, and get somebody in there. And then Tyson Fury upsetting Klitschko. That just made it even more interesting. And now they done split it up, so you're going to have before May, well, shoot, actually in January, you'll have 3 heavyweight champions, So you'll have a WBA, WBO, you'll have a WBC, and an IBF champion. So we'll see how that plays out. Honorable mention for Division of the Year would be the junior welterweight and welterweight divisions. Right now, there's a lot of good fighters in those 2 respective divisions, especially the welterweight division. And it's getting to the point where, you got like, 2 champions? And they're having a tournament for the WBC belt. So, you got Keith Thurman is the WBA champion, and you got Kell Brook is the IBF champion. And then you got this tournament they're going to have for Floyd's WBC welterweight belt. All as well as Tim Bradley is the WBO champion. And then you got plenty of good contenders out there. So these guys can't keep ducking guys and stuff if that's what they're doing. They're going to have to go and face each other. So we're going to see some hot action coming up here in the next few weeks. Let me come on and wrap this up a little bit. 2016 preview. Sort of like a wish list. The fights I'd like to see in 2016. Adrian Broner versus Lamont Peterson. Danny Garcia versus Keith Thurman. Timothy Bradley versus Sean Porter. And Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua. So, let me know what you think. Comment, subscribe, rate. Peace out. One love.